patents, and sometimes you can obtain technological ideas from the patents. You can use it from the same interest in industry, but sometimes you can have ideas from other industry, because sometimes the other industry can have a similar approach to solve their own problems, but usually they are just limited to their industry, and you can use it in some cases because they did not privatize it in your area. So you can use it. You can have ideas from other patents. Okay, then you are when you are having those very fine ideas, and you can apply this idea as a patent, and if the idea is granted, you can use it to block other competitors. This is a very typical cycle or process of doing R&D and making it privatized. So this is the outcomes of using IP-driven R&D. You can avoid infringements by searching the patents, and you can build very strong IP portfolios. Many companies are trying to make strong IP portfolios, but sometimes it's not perfect. So you can have your own IP portfolios, which was not privatized by other companies. So you can build IP portfolios, and of course, what I'm saying mostly in this presentation is that you can guide the R&D by searching and analyzing the patents. And sometimes after after your patent is granted, you can license out and make money. Sometimes you can license in other ideas, and you can make products. The fifth one is, okay, so you can build patent databases, okay? Without this IP-guided R&D, your several years of research and development projects cannot be commercialized, because sometimes some other companies can have patent disputes over your products. So in these cases, your product cannot be commercialized in some markets because it's already infringing other people's privileged patents. Okay, with this IP-driven R&D, you can do it more efficiently because you can search it, you can find many technical information from others, and you can do it more efficiently. I show you an example about the making gears. You can find the starting point to do research and development process, and you already have a technological information from these patents, and you can shorten the amount of time and money investing the research and development process, and also you can avoid to prevent the patent infringement because you already searched lots of patents, which your idea can possibly infringe other ideas, but you already, if you do already research and avoid these ideas, you can have risk-free products on the market. And this is some showing on ideas for the government level. In government officials can also have ideas from investing their government money on developing some technological areas. The government can search the patents, and they can find the promising technologies or the scope of R&D. They can narrow down to scope of R&D products, and the government can use their funds very efficiently. In this case, this axis shows technical interest, and this axis shows the competitiveness. In this case, this technology A is shown to be more promising, and if you are having the competitiveness in this technological area, and then government can invest their money on this technological area to develop the national competitiveness. Okay, so this process shows the details about how efficiently providing government funded to private sectors. And also, these patents can show about information about how valuable these results about the research and development projects, because in many cases, sometimes the value of patents can be evaluated, and the government can evaluate the end products of R&D process after analyzing the outcome of the R&D project's patents. So this is a kind of a concept how to use to efficiently invest in government funding. Okay, so the industry, the private companies can use search the patents when the companies are doing solving problems or doing their setting up their products, and this government can wisely invest their money on the promising areas of technologies. So composing those ideas, then the government can nurture high value industry. So this is what I'm saying, and I think you can have a conversation about on my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Kim, for this presentation, which has brought in a new kind of new way of approaching intellectual property in relation to IP. I have a few remarks before I open the floor for our young innovators and colleagues from the other end to raise their points or asking questions. Could you kindly go back to the slide that you had on examples of IP? Yes, example of IP-driven R&D process. I'm trying to put my feet into the shoes of a young innovator, individual young innovator from a country like Tanzania. And from that angle, I'm trying to come to you to raise these points. What I could understand from your presentation, this is an interesting concept in the sense that when you should start thinking about IP when you are in the business of innovation. That means you are engaging in innovation, and that is definitely containing this aspect of R&D. And then you have explained the benefit of that. What we have seen so far in other presentations and what we have learned in many other occasions, that if you want to proceed towards the activity of patenting, if you want to proceed for patenting, it is very important to know about the patent information system and also to do the prior art search, which is very obvious and which is a requirement to draft a patent application, so that you do not claim something which is already there and it will be outrightly rejected. In your case, what I have noted that you are taking this aspect a little bit further ahead. The prior art search, looking for patent information, analyzing technology trend in a particular industry, not only when you have done the R&D and reached a stage when you are thinking of protecting your R&D because you think that it is suitable for that sort of IP processes like patent protection. But you are asking that, or you are proposing, or the concept is that you take it further ahead of the phase, even when you are thinking of R&D, when you are thinking of innovation. You have got an idea, and we have heard yesterday some presenters made this, that there are data-driven innovation, there are problem-driven innovation. In whichever way, you have brought in an idea and you want to build on the idea to innovate something. But in that particular phase, you think that intellectual property related inquiries like patent information and prior search would be helpful for a company, a startup, or even an individual innovator to guide his R&D and innovation more towards a successful outcome, or more towards a phase where they are in good shape or maybe in a better position to go forward for the patent protection or other kind of IP protection. So this is what I understood. My question is that in this case, if it is a young innovator or a small startup, what should be, because for big companies, I understand that they have these officials, they have these experts and technical managers and all these things who have expertise in doing that. But for a individual innovator, what could be, I would say, more of an improvised way to engage in that kind of activity, like patent information search, prior art search. So for me, just to say that one has to already start understanding how to do the prior art or how to do the search in patent information system already when he is thinking himself as an innovator. So the importance of patent information is not only when you have got the innovation ready for going ahead for patenting, but even before that phase. So this is my understanding from your presentation. So is there any guidelines or any tools or any tips that you can give to our young innovator when they are, because, sorry to extend my my remarks here, but I'm trying to understand, because what I have understood from the innovators that they have been working, say someone is working in the agriculture sector, they have their own small companies, and they are very innovative people. They have the intelligence and the talent to do something. They see a problem and they want to do something about it. And later on, when they reach a kind of an advanced stage, they think, oh, this is a good invention, this is a good innovation. So I need to have a patent on this, or I need to have an utility model. But what they should do even when they are thinking of starting the research or the innovation process for a small scale startup or an individual young innovator. This is my, if you have any observation or any comments on that.
Okay, so I think the other presenters will show how to search the priors on young new ideas and new intuitions about something. And okay, so as I said, the patent system is a real big data, and 500 million patents are accumulated, and it's not easy to search and find what you are thinking. So, but okay, okay, but you should invest your time and effort to search the already privatized patents through Google Patents, or also WIPO are providing a good website to search the patents. There are or commercial tools to search the internet, but it costs lots of money. So I recommend that you use first some public domain to search the patents, including WIPOs or Google Patents. They are doing best to providing tools for young innovators to search the patents through internet, and I think you can use them, and other presenter will show how to do that through the internet. Okay, so there is no way that you are young innovators and you are already doing searching papers, technical papers, or other many forms of information before you are starting your R&D. But in many cases, unfortunately, many researchers do not search prior art before starting R&D. So please remember that you can you should spend your time and effort to search the patents through internet before you start R&D. I really recommend you as you can do a commercial solution might not be a immediate good answer for you, and I think many good information that can be reachable through internet. That's what I want to say.
No, thank you. I think you are very correct. Just to emphasize, and that's why I raised this point, the importance of learning this technique, the importance of learning the tools as much as possible, at least because an innovator cannot be an expert on this by himself. We do not expect, at least in the context of our countries, but at least to know how to do this. And that's why we have been trying to bring this element of training in this topic in the training program as much as possible, so that they continuously get exposed to this sort of issues and then start understanding the importance of this patent IP analysis, the way you have put it in your slide, that IP analysis, which captures not only the prior art search, patent information search, but also the technology trend search using the information that is available in the patent system. So this is a very interesting way to look at it. And you also have mentioned that this can, I was just looking at it, the trend of technology, that it helps someone to set the scope, the subject. No, I think the slide that you had there before, examples of IP-driven. So it's like the scope. So you continuously can redirect or you tune your work towards a path that will lead you to the success. So that's what you said. And not only that, I think yesterday there was this discussion that, and we have seen in our countries that young innovators sometimes they wait until the very end to go for the IP protection. But before that, in somehow through their work, through promotion of their project for investment, support, and other things, the information is disclosed. And sometimes it becomes part of the public domain. Sometimes someone take a free ride on that information to develop a technology who is more smart and kind of cunning, perhaps, if you like. And then that young boy or gentleman or woman, they lost the benefit for all the work that they have put into the innovation. So there was this proposal to have this provisional approach, to move ahead, to have some sort of provisional patent program submission, or trying to see how they can protect their innovation work when they are engaged in this work before the patenting, through different strategic approach, including the provisional patent application. So this can also help the IP analysis during the R&D process, can help to take that kind of decision when you are not yet there to take the final decision. So informed decision making can be helped through this approach. So that's my comment for our discussion. So thank you once again for this excellent presentation, very new idea. So I will now go back to our friends back there in COSTECH. Please, if you have any points from your end.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Just what I want to say is this, as you already mentioned, that in many cases, my new ideas might be already documented or patented already, so you should search patents and tune into your R&D, and I hope you can do it efficiently. But in many cases, patent document is sometimes the terms are not same from your ideas. So sometimes the terms are misreading, and sometimes the terms are misguiding, distracting. So sometimes the researchers cannot find some very important information which is already patented. So in this case, please contact IP attorney. For they are professionals and sometimes they can help you, but it costs money. So, but if you are thinking your idea is very great and important and nobody did the same thing, then you should check other professionals. You should that should be checked by other professionals. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. So going back to Erasto, if you have any comments, observation from your end, or any other person from that, from our friends, the young innovators.
Yeah, thank you so much, Islam. We highly appreciate the presentation from Dr. Kim. I have some few comments. One which is echoes on what you have just discussed with Dr. Kim. When it comes about this new approach of IP-driven research, mostly it should be at the institutional level, because as an individual innovator, it's not that very easy. So my interest, maybe we can discuss on the slide about the IP-driven R&D for the government. That's we have interest because we are working as innovation agents, and our role is to coordinate research in the country and also to facilitate the commercialization of the innovations. So you can see the approach which you have brought is very necessary for us, maybe to start transforming. We have the research priority, of which maybe is not based on the IP. So my question to you, at the beginning of the presentation, you put in 3 different levels, like the director coming up with the business roadmap, and then the one operating at the middle coming up with the products roadmap, and the technology manager coming up with the technology roadmap. So now, how do you link with the IP-driven research for the government sector with the idea of planning that 3 level? I think that it can help us. And also, maybe you can comment a bit on the IP analysis tools, how we can access that, because I believe that it can help us to start now thinking in another way around to come up with the IP-driven research. Thank you.
I think you are having 2 questions about how to apply this process in government level, and the second one is how to access, how to search the patents through internet. I think the first, is it correct? The 2 questions you have?
Yeah, correct.
Yes, okay. First, this tapping down process is a very typical process for the companies. I think in many cases it is for governmental process. Okay, so not easy applying this idea for the government level, but okay, so but in big picture, okay, so this business product or technology roadmap, okay, so it's not important. I think you can find the technology development roadmap by searching patents. That is, I think I can answer you using this slide. Okay, so the government can find a promising technological area by searching the internet. So in this case, the scope of technology is so wide and may not be easy to take searching the patents. But I think there are professionals who can search the patents and summarize on the some technological areas, and they can find the trend of technology by searching and analyzing the patents, and then combine those technological trends or ideas, and you can combine it with your competitiveness in your country. I think Tanzania has a very good human resources, and I think you can invest in human resources on some technological areas. I think in that case, you can have a competitiveness in that industry or in that technological area. So just search in wide or not, just search the patents and find the big picture of technological areas or technological trends, and then you can combine it in your own competitiveness. So they can show you a way to invest a government fund into our R&D process. And first, you mentioned some business roadmap and technological roadmap. I think that is a very narrow way for the company, not for government level. I think this is a government level process of doing something. And second question is how can we search the patents through internet? I think that there are consecutive presenters after me, and I think they can show how to do prior search. But I think you can find the Google patents or the WIPO also tools to search patents. Also, European Patent Office can provide you a good tool to search patents. I think the other presenters will show you a better solution than me. I think you can focus on their presentation. These could be our answer for your question.
Erasto, if you allow me just to quickly come in to add one point. Dr. Kim, I think this is a very valid issue because COSTECH, Mr. Erasto, my colleague there who posed this question, he's from the Tanzania Commission for Science and Technology. As he explained, this is the government body mandated to promote technology, science, innovation, and all these projects, working with the innovators all over the country. So this is a very important aspect for them to see how IP can also be brought into their own system and organization, if I have understood from his comments and question. You have proposed here in this slide that this is the patent information search could be searching for a promising technology. I just wanted to understand in Korea, how is it done in the government level? Is it KISTA, or do you have a kind of already established setup within a government institution that take care of such kind of search, or it is outsourced and then provided funding through the government channels?
In the cases, okay, so Korean, okay, so we are doing this kind of project, and we call it a technology blueprint for the government R&D process. We are doing that kind of projects for government, and I think yes, we are doing that.
So you mean that KISTA is doing this kind of work or providing such kind of technical inputs to this sort of searching promising technology or a specific item on a project by project basis? So this is how you...
Yes. The government is giving funds to search those patents before they are starting R&D projects. Okay, basically the patent can show you lots of information, but it should be based on the other technical professionals' ideas. So patents can add more ideas or can tune these ideas, but that ideas must come from the technical or technical developers, techniques, or engineers. That is the important point. That the ideas or technological areas or the setting of their technical trees or something like that should come from the brains from the engineers or the scientists from that area. That is the starting point of doing, finding those promising area of technology.
Excellent. No, thank you so much. That's perhaps would be very helpful. Erasto, if you have any other points or any other participants from your end.
Yeah, we have several questions.
Please. I think we are in the coffee break time, but we can manage, I think. Let us go.
Thank you, Dr. King, for your presentation. Actually, this is the way we should do things, but it's very unfortunate that in Tanzania, the patent documentation as a source of technical information has not taken its root. So even the graduates from our universities, they don't know this type of source of technical information. And from my experience during drafting some of the patent applications for the innovators, you note that the innovator independently did a work, and he's not aware of the patent information, but his solution is exactly as one in an existing patent document. So now you see that it's difficult now to draft an application for him because he already what he has invented is already existing. So it's like he has reinvented the wheel. So I think the root cause, what we in Tanzania should do, we needed to introduce this source of technical information to the universities, R&D institutions, etc. Before, of course, I can just imagine for the young innovators here in this group of different levels, some has never even seen that how the patent document looks like. So you can see how difficult it is, of course, later on to draft such a patent application for one who has done his work independently, but what has come out already existed some 2, 3, 20 years ago. So I think maybe my colleague from COSTECH, I think we need to take an initiative to introduce this source of technical information to our R&D and universities, maybe through the TISC program which you are having with the WIPO. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Shemdoi, for such a great comment. Actually, if you followed yesterday in our presentation, we have established about 41 focal persons in different institutions. And these focal persons, they have gone some training on how to access different databases on the IP. And there will also upcoming another training, which is to be on advanced search. And the purpose to equip them so that they can be able to assist the young innovators in their ecosystem. So we are just at the beginning. That's why I was interested on the tools, so that as we equip them, we can equip them in a proper way that it can be useful to the young innovators. So we are on the right track. Maybe we are late, but we need to do more to make sure that even researchers, before they start their research, at least they have to go through the PioArts to search some of the existing IP information. So we are on that route. We are very pleased with this information which you have just shared. It opens us that we need to change the way we approach research and development so that it can come up with useful results. Thank you so much, Dr. Shemdoi, for the comments. Maybe if Dr. Kim, you want to give some comments is to encourage us how we can move fast. This we are just on the start. Thank you. No comment from your side? Maybe we proceed to another question.
Thank you, Dr. Kim, for the nice presentation. I really like the new way of producing, of planning R&D processes. Indeed, it makes a lot of sense. My question is, according to your presentation, you said that in a new approach of R&D process, it is advised that we conduct IP-based market analysis. And in our conventional way, we used to conduct a survey to get data from the market for analyzing the market need. Does it mean this IP-based market analysis is an alternative to the conventional way, or we have to do both? And lastly is the request, kindly guide us on how we can access the tool to carry out the IP-based market analysis. Thank you.
The first thing is that I think you have the two questions, and the first one is that this prior searching and analyzing the patents is good, but not substituting the conventional way. Yes, first question, and I think it's the first question, and second one is how to analyze. How can you get these outcomes from the low materials or low data? Okay, so I think I should start. I can give you my idea about first question. And yes, you are right. The industry trends and market needs, user needs, are not easy to understand and to doing it objectively. But in this case, what I want to say is that patenting requires money, and so the companies are doing for their own private money. So the companies are investing some important or promising areas by patenting it. So when we can see the trend of patenting, I think the industry or market or companies are thinking that technological area is promising, and sometimes it makes money. So in many cases, companies and many researchers are doing mistakes, but you can you can add a trend on the intuition on the market search. So this patent searching and analyzing is not the only answer. Just it's giving more information about how the other companies or competitors are thinking, and what they are thinking about promised technologies. So I think this is another way to understand how the market or industry are need. And second one, these graphs are from the Google search and kind of analysis about some industry, about some areas. The number shows that it's very old report. And okay, so this is very outcome over extensive efforts. Just the very typical process of patent prior search is that finding our technological tree you want to analyze, and then derive keywords from the technological map, technological tree, and then derive some searching terms or terms for the patents from that keywords. That's what I'm saying, that you should make a tree structure from technologies what you want to know, and then take a keywords from the technological tree, and then derive searching terms to search patents, and type the searching terms on the good patents or whiteboard systems or EPO systems, and you can find tons of information. And that after that, you should invest your time and money to understand what they are showing. So you should click every patent you have on the screen and understand what it is, and you should remove something which is not related to your ideas. So, and then you can make tuned databases about your ideas, and then draw these kind of pictures or tables after doing that long, painful way of removing patents which is not related to your ideas. So sometimes the commercial solutions can have a way to reduce those kind of time to make this kind of trend and trend of patterns over the technology. But basically, it's requires lots of time and effort to get this kind of trend or information. I'm sorry for not giving you that kind of bad fact that this is not easy to do. But okay, so it requires time and effort. Yeah, that's what that's what I'm saying. So there are patent consultants in Korea doing this kind of patent consulting, but you are young innovators and you are maybe short of time to investing all the time and effort to doing this kind of information. I think you can have a much better way to this this kind of information.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other points? Maybe we can, Erasto, because I think we are almost, we have already crossed the time for the coffee break.
Oh my God.
Should we?
Maybe we allow one question, the last one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kim, for the fruitful session on strategic approach for IP and R&D. So, I was interested by the IP-driven R&D, but regarding the young innovator that we are here, most of us, we already are moved from that step of conducting research and development, and we have product on our hand. So maybe from that, can you help us on how we can start to structure or to find the relevant information on intellectual property and basically on patent documentation? Because if we go back from R&D is where we came from, and we unfortunately we are not aware about that we should start from searching the information and knowing this and this, if this is available or if it's not available. So we are in the point that we need directly to obtain the document, and that is where we are. So from there you can help us that from this point that you have R&D, you already conducted research, you have product on your hand, then you can do this and this to obtain a patent document. I think that will be very helpful for us. Thank you.
I think your question is how to search prior art patents when you didn't make an idea or your product. Is it correct? Am I understood right?
Yeah, in fact, what he is putting across is, as young innovator, as you mentioned, most of the patents based on problem solution. So for them, they spot the problem and they start coming up with solution without first searching on the database to find out if the solution is already existing. So they just come up with the solution, now starting going through the patenting process. So now the question it was like, what is your advice? Because for them, they start just spotting what are the challenges in the community and they're coming up with the relief to that challenge. Is that coming clear?
I think there are more sessions of presentations about how to do prior art and how to make patent documents. I think they can provide you a better solution. I think time is already over 1 hour. I think you can get much more information from them because they are much better professional than me, I think. So you can.
Yes, no, thank you, Dr. Kim. I just want to come in, Erasto. The question is a very good one, and actually that is the purpose of this training program. But the topic, let us kind of try to understand what this topic is about. This topic is about those who wants to undertake R&D or undertaking R&D, and how IP can also play a role in the R&D stage. So this is for the young innovators, also for their future R&D activities. So if you look at it in that way. But yesterday we had all these presentations, including the one from Dr. Soon, which also, and we will have another presentation just after this from Lutz, our colleague, which will be very much related to this question. When you are ready with the product, it is important to note that you should have actually done it before you reach this stage. But since you have done it already and you are trying to get a patent, what should be the different considerations and aspects that you need to know. So that we will take care of in the following presentation. Yesterday we also had the presentation in regard to prior art search, preparation for patenting, drafting of patenting. We had these lengthy discussions yesterday afternoon. So that is, I think, more applicable to this question. But this particular topic is mostly for them, the young innovators, for their future such kind of innovation endeavors, R&Ds. And then I think it is already good for all of us to know that we should be actually thinking of R&D at that, IP at that very early stage of R&D. So that's how I think we can summarize this aspect. So, but I want to thank the young innovators for this initiative to raise this point, and it helps not only COSTECH but also us to see how we can also incorporate such kind of elements in our future programs. So thank you once again for this. And Erasto, please maybe should we have a quick break because then we will get into very interesting topic of approaching the patent application and the perspective of an examiner. We have our colleague Mr. Lutz Mailänder waiting for this presentation. So please guide me. Do you want to have a quick break for a coffee, or you want to perhaps we go to the next presentation and we can have a break in between and then we continue, because Lutz has 2 presentations. He will try to capture them in one go, but we can have a break between them.
Yeah, Islam, so I think we better break for 20 minutes.
You want to have a break?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lutz, is it okay for you if we have a break? Thank you for your understanding because we are behind the time schedule. So please.
No. For me it's okay, but actually, I would like to tell you already now that I'm going to answer a lot of the questions that are already posed. Because my presentation will cover many of these questions.
Okay, excellent.
What to do if you find out if your invention has already existed in some other countries, for example.
Okay. So it's excellent.
So then let's break for some 15 minutes or so, maybe.
Okay. So we are at 15 minutes past 10 there. So we come back at 10:25 sharp, please, so that we can have more time in our presentation and discussions. As Lutz just said, that he will be also taking up some of the questions already raised. So Mr. Kim, thank you very much for your idea, sharing your ideas, and then this new concept, which was very much well received. I can see even from COSTECH. So we look forward to continuing having you with us. We will have a group discussion. Perhaps you can also join us there and also contribute to the discussion. And once again, thank you so much from all of us for your availability and this presentation. So we go for the break now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Jamani, naomba wale ambao wanatoka kwenye R&D na vyuo vikuu wanyoshe mikono ambao mko. Hii inawahusu. Sawa jamani? Hii inawahusu. Maana yake kama COSTECH tunayo fund pale, sisi tuna coordinate, nyinyi ndio mnafanya. Kwa hiyo nadhani thinking ianze kwenda huko. Tunazidiwa na nchi ambazo ni ndogo. Nchi ya Uganda population yake ukilinganisha na Tanzania hatufanani. Kwa hiyo lazima twende nani. Sasa kwa vile muda wa nani wa China mdogo, tutajadili. Ila hii hapa inatuhusu. Kwa young innovators
to highlight this, although I have sent an email this morning, is it possible to share with me the presentations, whichever the ones that you have with you? Maybe I would try to have a look at them, and then during the group discussions, if there is some questions that perhaps we can raise to guide the discussions, to have more focused discussion, or to help our young innovators. The presentations that they made yesterday by the young innovators, I think you may be having that in that computer.
Yes.
So if it is possible to send it to me.
Okay, we'll send to you. Jamani, twende kwenye nani?
I'll try to look at them as we move forward towards that session in between this time, as much as possible, and then perhaps pinpoint some questions on them for our discussion.
Okay. Twende dakika 10.
Halo. Tayari hapo umeshaweza?
Welcome back, Erasto. Please let us know if you are ready to start.
Hello, Islam. Hello.
Recording in progress.
Hello. Yeah, we are ready to start.
Can we start, Erasto?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So welcome back, dear participants and officials. So we are now going to the second, the third cluster of our program, which is about how to prepare a successful patent application, the perspective of a patent examiner. We have with us Mr. Lutz Konrad Mailänder, international expert, patent drafting and examination from Munich, Germany, who has a long experience in this specific field, working within WIPO and with many other countries across the world, including in Africa and in Asia. So with this, I would like to hand over the floor to Lutz. To kindly go ahead with his presentation. Lutz, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daniel, for inviting me to this activity. And good morning to everybody, or it's actually already almost afternoon. So welcome everybody. I think, as I said before, I think I will be able to answer some of your questions that were asked at the last presentation. And some of these questions actually will be answered during my presentation, so please be patient and follow my presentation. But there's one item which I'm not going to address directly. This is more about patent analytics, these sort of strategic analysis, of marketing opportunities. Where should you develop maybe products, or where's the strength of an economy and where are gaps, for example. So these types of more strategic analytics, which we call patent analytics, I wanted to explain that there is also support from WIPO available for this, actually. My colleague who made a presentation yesterday, Ms. Halm, Efwa Halm, she works in a division, actually, which is not only supporting the TISC centers and doing training on how to do prior art searches. They actually also have a unit and an expert dealing with patent analytics. And they have actually also documentation. There's also a manual how to prepare a patent landscape report, for example. I know this because I worked in this field myself in my long career at WIPO. So about 12 years ago, WIPO started also preparing patent landscape reports in the field, in various technical fields. This was related to the CDIP project, actually, to facilitate the use of patent information by developing countries for developing purposes. And at that time, we started preparing some patent landscape reports. There's, for example, one for solar cooking. Yesterday, we had a short presentation by someone who developed a solar cooker, you know. So there is also a patent landscape report done by WIPO some 12 years ago about various patents related to solar cooking, just to give you an example. And there's also a manual how you can actually prepare such patent landscape reports and do such patent analytics. And they also do trainings for you. You know, this is meant to be an advanced type of training for TISC centers, actually, how to do patent analytics. So if there's any need from COSTECH, I think you should also turn to these colleagues, Andrew Szakowski and his division, you know, to get some specific training. And about the tools that you can use for patent analytics, actually, there is another manual where at the time we gathered information on various publicly available tools that you can use for doing patent analytics. So for visualizations, for example, of statistics and this kind of stuff. And of course, there are various databases. So I will come back actually to some of the databases during my presentation. I hope I will not forget to indicate, you know, which ones are suitable also for doing patent analytics. But my presentation, now to turn to my presentation, I will cover also the aspect of prior art searches. So this is interesting for the individual innovators, you know, that are participating in this particular training. And doing a prior art search is different actually from doing patent analytics. It requires different skills, different tools, different databases. So if there is an interest on the side of COSTECH or other institutions, you know, for doing such patent analytics, that is some sort of different training that you should request that is not really suitable for the individual inventors or for SMEs. Actually, it's more for big business, you know, and for government institutions, for example, or other institutions doing analytics in the field of economy. So now let me turn to my presentation. I'm going to share my screen now, and oh, sorry, I forgot. Sorry, Daniel, I've just seen I need to enable a screen sharing on my Zoom application here as well, and because I just downloaded the Zoom application, a new one yesterday evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So you want me to share it for you?
No, I'm going to share it, but I just got the message that I need to quit Zoom and re-enter Zoom. So give me 2 minutes, actually, then the screen sharing, because my Zoom application, which I downloaded only yesterday evening, a new version, told me that I have to authorize screen sharing, you know, and this will only come into force when I restart Zoom. So I have to quickly leave, and I'll be back in 2 minutes or so.
Okay.
So please be patient. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'm back, and you should be able to see me and hear me again.
Yes.
Okay.
You are here.
So now I'm sharing my screen. It worked. Yeah. And let me move to my PowerPoint. And I have a question for you, Daniel. I'm starting now the full screen mode. Can you actually? You can see it?
we can see, but we can see not in presentation mode. It's like all the slides. So because it came at the beginning, where I think you need to go to click maybe I don't know, because it looks like slightly different. The one with yes.
What do you see now?
Yeah, this is fine. So you have to click very bottom end. Yes.
I know. I clicked here. Yeah. And now what do you see now?
Okay, no, it's again going back to that. Can you go back to the previous screen? Let us see if you can increase the. Yeah, can you?
I will not be able. There seems to be an error in the screen sharing. You know. So let me enlarge this here a little bit.
Yeah.
We are going to do it like this one here.
Okay.
And I will, yeah. So I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
It's okay, please. We can see.
We should have checked this perhaps earlier. Next time we will do this. So let me just maximize this here a little bit further. Okay, so as Daniel said, I used to let me reduce it a little bit further. Now it should work. Yeah. I worked for WIPO for about 10 years, and I retired actually only second last month, so end of February. I retired from WIPO. Before WIPO, actually, I worked as a patent examiner at the German Patent and Trademark Office. And I worked in the field of physics, actually. And at WIPO, for the last 15 years, I provided some technical assistance for patent offices in developing and least developed countries. Mostly in the field of patent examination, actually. And in this context, when I delivered training for patent examiners in developing or least developed countries, the offices also frequently asked me, can we do something also for patent applicants? Because they also need some sort of understanding. In particular, because there is an overlap, between the training for patent examiners and also for applicants. And this is with respect to claims. How do you draft claims? How do you examine claims? So, and at that time, it turned out that it was actually very interesting for applicants to learn how examiners would actually examine a patent application. So, what is a good patent application that actually, on the one hand, helps the examiner to efficiently examine the application? And on the other hand, what is, what do you need to do in order to improve the success, the potential success of your patent application, so to get a patent in the end? So it was actually it turned out it was interesting for the applicants to learn how would a patent examiner examine the patent application. Because if you understand a little bit how the examination works, you can already take this into account when you draft your patent application. So this was the beginning, actually, that I also made presentations and did deliver certain trainings to applicants. In doing all this work with the local patent offices, I discovered that in particular for local applications, there is very often a big challenge. And the one challenge is, in particular, the drafting quality of local applications, because applicants are not very experienced, in drafting patent applications. And very often, the examiner cannot even start examining the application because, for example, the claims are not properly drafted. So it's already, so to speak, a formality problem. So in this presentation, I will try to explain you a little bit about how to draft claims, what is important for drafting claims. And the other challenge of patent offices is, of course, the examination capacities. How do we examine actually a novelty and inventive step? This is a big challenge because it requires proper training and it requires also proper tools, so access to databases. And the bad message in this context is that the free of charge patent databases are actually not very effective. You can waste a lot of time with doing searches there. And actually the big patent offices, the major patent offices, they're not using these databases. They're using professional commercial databases. But we are not going to dwell on this one here, but I will also explain a little bit in the course of my explanation how you can do a simple search, even as an applicant, how you can do a simple search, because this will help actually improving the your application. So this is our agenda for today. I will briefly start with some observations on the very smart business ideas that were presented yesterday. So I was pretty impressed yesterday by all the good ideas that you had. They are pretty smart. But as we already said, and as you said yourself, it's a difficult step, you know, moving from the business idea, or maybe already from the product. Many of you already have a product ready, you know, move on to file a patent application and get IP protection in the end. So I will address this point in particular in my presentation, and the core of my presentation, actually, we will talk about claims which define the protection or the invention, but we also need to talk about descriptions, of course. I will have a few words on observations on the patent system as such, and then we will explain actually how the application, so to speak, the claims is going to be examined, because this will definitely help you. This will definitely help you to improve the application that you draft before you submit it. And then there is the question, you know, what can you do actually if the examiner finds that your application is not new, your invention is not new or not inventive. So I will also talk briefly about how can you amend actually your application, in particular the claims. And because my point is also, like in the previous presentation, that it's always helpful for a patent applicant, it's always helpful to do a little bit of a search yourself. I will also stress this fact actually, how you can do your own at least novelty search, maybe not inventive step search, but at least a simple novelty search. And therefore I will briefly touch upon available databases and search methodologies